Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Very glad that you're making time, especially in the summertime when everyone wanted to be out and about, especially when weather is holding good. You are choosing to be with us. Thank you. Extra thanks for that. Um, Before we start today's program, um, a little quick overview of the things, the community services, what Manhattan Meditation Center offers. So, even before that, so my name is Anita, and I welcome everyone on behalf of Manhattan Meditation Center who's joining us on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. And when it comes to services, we offer live meditation twice a day, power pose meditation in the afternoon at 12 p.m. from Monday to Friday, and good night meditation at 8 p.m. from Monday to Saturday and 7:30 p.m. on Sundays. It's a very short meditation, just for 15 minutes. The meditator introduces a topic and shares thoughts on that topic and lead everyone in the meditation. If you're joining us live on for Power Boost or Good Night Meditation or both of them, that's wonderful because I think anything which is live is always much more, you reap more benefits. The experience of joining everyone, although it is on online, but still that experience is much more fruitful than just listening to recording. Um, Besides the regular meditation twice a day, Manhattan Center also offers Thursday talks, which anyway, all of you make time to join. And in this month of June, we are also doing a 2-day short meditation course, which is right around the corner this coming Saturday and Sunday. Invisible Word of Truth. That's the title for the meditation course. It's in the mornings from 11 to 12:30. If you have registered for it already, wonderful. You're very welcome. We are very glad you're joining us. If you haven't made the time to do that, please visit our website. The link is available right there, and register for the meditation course, which is starting on Saturday. I think that's all for what we are offering in the month of June. Just before I invite today's speaker, recordings of all the Thursday talks, as well as the meditations, are available on our YouTube channel as well as on Facebook page. So if you want to revisit, revise, review, recordings are available. So today's topic, mental reprogramming. When I was thinking about this topic, one thing which was coming to mind was that a lot of times when we sit down and we are chit-chatting with each other and we are hashing out our day or what is going on in our life, we just during when we share that, sometimes it comes up and say, why are you really worried about it? Or why are you discussing something which has happened a little while ago, right? Sometimes we have some incidences which are kind of leave a little scar on the memory track and all. So just change your thoughts. You just don't think about it, and we just say, yeah, you're right. But it's not easy. It's not easy to stop thinking. It's not easy just to change your thoughts. I'm sure we all have either said that to someone, or we have heard someone saying this, right? But today's topic addresses how we can reprogram our mind. How can that will help to change our thinking. So mental reprogramming. With without delay, I'm going to invite Sandhya Kanthan, today's speaker. Sandhya, very warm welcome. And share your secrets, how we can reprogram our mind.
Thank you, Anita. Good evening, everyone. Om Shanti. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, audio is loud and clear.
Excellent.
Good to see you.
Good to see you and every one of you too.
Must have.
So, is there some noise in the background? Am I hearing someone?
Yeah, I think I just muted. Yeah.
Before we start our session today, just like Anita was sharing, I was also thinking, what mentally reprogramming? What am I doing? What is this about? So let's take a minute to first stabilize ourselves so we can actually look into this. I don't know if I'm going to give you methods and things, but first we need to think about, why do we even want to do this, right? Why would you want to reprogram your mind? Is it even possible? And then if yes, why, right? Let's take a minute. Sit down, relaxed, while alert. Take a deep breath. Things that have happened through the day, things that have been said, heard, experienced. For a few moments, we leave them behind. I can come back to them later, but right now, I'm going to take a few minutes to just stabilize myself in the state of peace. Just relax. Focus on your breath. Breathe in and breathe out.
It's your turn.
Breathe in, breathe out. One last time. Take a deep breath in, breathe out. It's very interesting how just a couple of minutes of centering yourself in your breath, if not anything else, can kind of stabilize you in the moment before we go into anything. So when I look at this word reprogramming, right, I am from an IT background. So the first thing that comes to mind is, when would you want to reprogram something? Like, for example, you're all used to it, like your thermostat, your coffee maker that, just makes coffee at 5 o'clock every morning and you keep it all ready. When would you want to reprogram something like that? Something is not working, right? That's when you have to reprogram. If everything works according to the way we want it to work, there is no need to reprogram. There's no need to do anything about it. So definitely something is not working, because of which we're saying, I want to reprogram my mind. But what is not working? How do I know it's not working? Simple questions, right? I just decided today that I want to do this in a different way than I usually do it. I put together a little presentation so we can kind of go through it. We're going to do a little of talking. We're going to do a little of reflection. We're probably going to do a couple of experimenting. And then we do a little experiencing and we see where we are. You're all okay with that? Good? All right. So let me just share my program. can see my screen. Do you see a presentation?
Yes, Sister Sandhya, we can see your screen.
Great. That's a simple slide, right? Why? Why do we even want to do this? In spirituality, and as you know, most of the time we're going to discuss this in the realm of spirituality. In the realm of spirituality, in the most basic sense, reprogramming means we want to go past where we are. We don't want to stay in our current state, right? Because in our current state, there are some limitations, some boundaries, some things that are not working. And how do we know something is not working? So my feelings are a way of informing me that something is not okay. So do I feel anxious? If you're feeling anxious all the time, you really need some help. But we're talking about, do you feel anxiety at times? Sometimes you feel insecure. Okay, sorry, that was not for me. Okay. Or you feel low in spirit, don't have energy. Or sometimes we feel inadequate, disheartened. I'm just giving you a whole lot of possible feelings. If we have these feelings come and go, then we know something in our state of mind is not working. And to be able to do this, we require some changes in the core of our being. We're going to talk about the mind definitely, but we need some changes there. But what do we need to change there? What is not working? Right? When we are doing programming in IT, or even like we said when we talked about your thermostat, right? Let's say your thermostat is not working. Whatever the temperature is that you set for the night is not working because it's just too cold and you always wake up shivering. Or during the day, it's hot. Then it's not doing what it's supposed to do, right? Something in here needs to be changed, reprogrammed. In the same way, in the field of IT, if we say a system may have to do something, we have to make changes, that means some parts of that system is not working accurately as we want it to. Right? So let us see what it is that's not working. How do I know it's not working? And how do I understand this? What is happening inside of me? So mostly, most of us, or in a regular life, we all use our analytical mind. And we have broken up the world into our understanding. So there are a set of discrete thoughts, some beliefs, some preferences, some opinions, some concepts I have of life that make up my world. And we do this because the universe is just too big for us. How do you grasp what is out there? So these little understandings, these goals, these preferences I have, these opinions I have, these beliefs more than anything else, they give me a sense of control. I feel like I can handle this, right? But what happens over a period of time when I live in this set of beliefs, in this set of thoughts? I come to a point where what I think, what I feel, what my preference is becomes my reality. So I started out creating these things to understand the world around me. But what happens with time is I become so fixed in this that I may want to change the world to fit my model, but I can't change. And many of you are seeing this example in the world right now. You can't tolerate people who have a different view of things, who don't see the world the way you see it. And when we hear that, We defend ourselves, our view of the world, what we think is the right view of the world, and we rationalize. And when someone doesn't understand further, it frustrates us, makes us angry, right? That's because we created this model inside of me of what reality is. And I want somehow the universe to fit into this reality of mine. And it's very interesting when we do this. When do I know that it's not working? When do I know it's not working? Very simple, right? We have a family structure, we have a husband, wife, kids, parents, whatever, right? And we live in this. Suddenly, when one of them passes away, or the relationship breaks, or you have this job that you had for the longest time and you suddenly lose that job, suddenly my entire world feels like it's falling apart, right? At that time, I understand something isn't okay. We panic. We get scared for a moment, maybe not for long, sometimes for long too, but we panic. And then we struggle. We struggle to put it back into a place where we can understand and make sense of it all over again. So when we look at this, we realize it doesn't take much for this reality of mind that I have set inside of me to fall apart. It only takes one thing not to fall in place. And then I am in this place where I am either anxious or insecure, I'm not clear, I don't know, I feel helpless, I can't do anything. Somehow the world is not right anymore, right? This is the reality we live in. And all of us have it. Some of us may have very strong and limited setups. Some of us may have a little bigger, but we all have this, right? And how much of a strong finite world I have created, how strong my beliefs are, whether good or bad, however it is, they kind of inform how my feelings are going to be when things change around, when they don't fall into this understanding of mine, into this reality of mine as I see it. So there is a writer called Michael Singer. I don't know if many of you have read in some of his books. A good writer, really good writer. He gives this example of this mental model, right? He talks about, for example, when you go to a zoo, right? Imagine you see a tiger in a cage. Have you seen the tiger in a cage? Walking back and forth, back and forth. It's a very limited space. Imagine for a second, instead of the tiger, if I were to be in that cage. Scary, right? So in the physical, we can comprehend how scary it is that I can't see anything outside of that cage. Someone's going to feed me, someone's going to take care, but still, I am within that confined space. Many times, mentally, we are in such a confinement. It's like a jail, it's like a prison, but it's not a prison anyone created. It's a prison we created for ourselves. Now, the tiger, if the cage is opened, will let go and walk away, right? He may scare us, but he will walk away. But many of us, we are not willing to step out of this cage. We are there. It's very comfortable for us. What is on the outside is unknown. I don't know how things are on the outside. But in this cage, in this belief, in this thing I live in, I am very familiar. We call this the comfort zone. There's no right or wrong. It's just what my comfort is in because I'm used to it. They always say the known devil is better than the unknown, right? It's like this. This is my comfort zone. We don't want to leave this cage then. We don't want to think of another way. Now, let me give you an example. How do I know I will not think beyond? Where are my walls? In a cage, you can physically see walls. How do you see walls in your mind? Have you ever experienced a wall in your mind? Let's take an example. Any of you have dogs? Yeah, some of you. Yeah, we love dogs, don't we? Many people, when they have a dog, they have a fence in their backyard so they can let the dog free, right? And if you want to leave them in the front yard, you have to have a fence in the front yard. Doesn't look very nice, right? So many people nowadays don't have a physical fence. They have electronic fences. You're aware of this, right? Yeah. Now, the electronic fences are very interesting. The dog has a collar and there is an electronic fence around, which means nothing happens to anyone else. But when that dog goes near that fence, he feels a tiny little shock. So he comes back. And then over time, anytime he goes near that fence, he feels that shock. He knows that he doesn't want to go anywhere there. You understand? There's a little pain and a little fear. So he won't go there. So over a period of time, the dog learns that he cannot cross this line, this invisible line that exists. Yeah. Now, how do I know my mental wall? It is the same thing here. Anything different that happens in life, and it gives me this sense of, you understand what I'm saying? Discomfort, just discomfort. I know there is a wall there. I like to arrange all my things in a certain way. Someone comes and puts something different. You feel something there, you feel a little discomfort, you know there is a wall there. I believe in human justice. I believe in justice for all. Anyone does something different from that, I feel a little discomfort. Don't want to be there. I don't want to be part of this. So anytime you get a feeling of insecurity, you're seeing all of those feelings there. Any of these feelings that come is a sign that I have touched the wall. I'm going close to it, the edge, because you will feel insecure. Sometimes you'll feel jealous. You'll feel fear more than anything else. And then you pull back. You don't want to go there anymore, right? These are mental walls, and they're different for each one of us. Each one of us have to recognize our own walls, and we have to break the walls we want to break. This is what mental reprogramming is. And this is what spirituality is. Spirituality is the commitment to go beyond these walls, no matter what it takes. Sometimes there is fear. Sometimes there's insecurity. Sometimes there's a little pain. But I commit that I will go out of this cage. I will not live just in these confined space because it feels safe. I will explore. This is spirituality. You have to go beyond yourself. That's when you see the ultimate reality of the universe. Coming back to the dog, right? It's exactly the same thing. I'm giving you an analogy so you understand. You know, if the dog, when it feels that pain, just continues a little further, it'll get out of the fence. It's just one line, right? But mostly it is the fear that keeps the dog inside. The fear of not wanting to face that fence. Imagine there is a brave dog. and it's ready to face the fear, it can cross the fence. That's what spirituality is. That's what mental reprogramming is. It's my commitment to go beyond my own limits, to go beyond my own beliefs, to go beyond my comfort zone. Because I want to know more. I want to expand my world, my understanding of the world. That is why there is a need for mental reprogramming. So how do I do this? How do I get there? We're going to do a few things today to help us here. I cannot say at the end of the hour we will all be, free from all walls, but we can start. It's a beginning. And the first thing we're going to start with, we have to understand what is the ideal state of the mind. When do I know that there is no need for any more reprogramming? It is at its ultimate. The mind is at its ultimate. How do I know this? The ideal state of both the body and the mind is one of peace. If you are constantly at peace, whatever happens in the world outside of you, then you know you have reached your ultimate destination. But if it isn't, if there are ups and downs, there is still the possibility to reprogram further. You understand? I want you to understand where you stand. And how do I gauge, am I there or not? So the first step, because this is the ideal state, the first step to shift from insecurity, fear, all of these are dark energies. So we say shifting from darkness to light. Peace is a state of light because it allows you to think clearly. It allows you to understand clearly. It allows you to move forward. Fear holds you back. Insecurity holds you back. So we call them dark energies. So the first shift can happen if we first learn to be peaceful. Yeah. Habit. This habit of being peaceless and our having accepted being peaceless. It comes from one single thread, one thread at a time, one thread at a time. Every day when I keep weaving it, we come to a point where we can't break that cable. You've seen the electric cables that go around. They're single threads, but they're all woven together. And then suddenly they're so strong that you can't break them. Habit is also like that. If I say okay once, if I say okay twice, if I say okay thrice, a few times I say okay, it becomes a habit. Now it becomes stronger with every repetition of that action. So in a world of constant movement, where we are constantly in action, we're always doing something, we're always part of something. We take so much satisfaction from that, right? When you've done a good day's work, do you feel good? It feels like, yes, I did very well today. I finished all of my tasks, my whole list of tasks, right? So it's a world right now in which we have a lot of satisfaction that comes from action. So many of us have forgotten what it feels like to be just peaceful, just still. How many of you sleep well at night? One of the biggest problems today in the world, many people can't sleep. They're constantly, even on the bed, on phones, looking at something, seeing something. You're constantly stimulating your mind because you cannot rest it. Do you all know what the secret to sleeping well is? Have you all been taught that? When I was young, My grandma used to teach that, which is count sheep, right? Have any of you done that in the night? They ask you to count sheep. It's one of the most boring activities. But the idea is when you do that, it is so boring that your mind slowly stops being stimulated. And then it comes to a state of rest and falls asleep, separates from the body. This is why we do it. You know, when many of my nephews say, I cannot sleep, I always tell them, count sheep. They're like, that's so boring. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be boring. Because if it stimulates you, you're not going to sleep. You're going to want to do more of it, right? But it's very important. It is a necessity for the soul. This peacefulness is required for true rest. Because when you don't, like just like in the night when you don't rest well, you don't have a very good day because you wake up tired. Am I right? You wake up tired because you didn't sleep well. In the same way, when you are not in a state of peace, you're constantly restless, you're tired. Most of us are tired, right? We are tired because we don't stay in peace. So slowly, first and foremost thing we need to do before we reprogram, because many people think reprogramming is changing the way I think. True in a way, but it's not enough because it will not sustain, it won't hold. It has to start in the state of rest, in the state of peace. So what happens when you do things in a state of peace or a state of rest, which is different from the way we act nowadays? What happens is the action that you do is not from habit, which means it's not from compulsion. You do it by intention. This is what I want to do. You understand this? This is the right thing to do. This is the best thing in the long run for me. And so I want to do this. Good intention, right intention. And this is where change begins. It doesn't begin with thinking. Many of you know this. We sit down in meditation, we follow a commentary, we try to follow a few thoughts. It feels good for the moment. And then as soon as the commentary is off, you're out of your chair, you're back to your old ways. Am I right? Doesn't work because it has nothing to hold it, doesn't have the foundation. So foundation is in the state of peace. This is what is necessary for us to be able to change, to transform, to reprogram. So today we're going to do a little exercise on this. We're going to kind of work with this and see how does it feel to be in a state of calm, to be in a state of stillness, because it helps. And I'm going to do it through a series of steps. Let's do the first one. I hope you all have a paper and a pen because I want you to work with me on this, because none of us can help break the walls for anyone else. We have to do this for ourselves. So you'll have to work with yourself while I work with myself. So I will tell you what works for me, and you can try the same, right? So we're going to do a little reflection. Take a piece of paper and a pen, keep it ready. Now I want you to reflect. I want you to remember a time when you experienced complete peace. Even if it's just a moment in your life, I want you to remember a time when you experienced complete peace. Let's take a minute. Just recall. if you are able to. And if you want to write down, you can take a minute to do that. Just remember the time when you experienced complete peace. When you are in a state of peace, what effect did it have on your surroundings? Mothers can many times know what it feels like, right? Their children, the way the children react or respond to you changes. Next, I want you to reflect on when you had a moment of peace, you know that it is the time when your thoughts are really slow. So just reflect. When does your thought energy speed up? When does it slow down? In your own life, in your own experience, when does your thought energy speed up? Last. What helps you to be peaceful? You need to recognize these things to be able to practice it. Let's take a minute while we finish this. Make note of them because they are helpful guidelines. Okay? All right. Now we're going to do a little experiment. You're all ready? Sometimes you want to move around, right? We make you sit for too long, don't we? We're going to do a little experiment because one is to understand what peace is. One is to know when I feel peaceful, when I don't feel peaceful. When are there too many thoughts in my mind? When is my thinking slow? I need to understand these things. But the next is I need to be able to put it in action. Right? So we're going to do a little experiment. Wherever you are, stand up and look across the room. I hope you put me on a speaker so you can actually walk. Choose a spot on the other side of the room. And prepare to, don't move yet. Prepare to time yourself and move quickly and in a dignified manner to that spot on the other side of the room. Check how long it takes, right? Now you're going to do this. You found a spot, you've decided that's where you're going to go. You don't want to rush, you're not going to run. But in a very dignified way, you're going to move to that point, get there, that's your destination, and you're back. Can we do this? I'm looking at the ones on video to see where you all are. Okay, now return to your starting place, covering the same distance. Thank you, Maniza. All right, now you're going to do this exercise again, whatever that spot that you picked in your room, right? Now, take a full 3 minutes to get there. Move as if you're not moving. Let the earth not feel the burden. That means when I'm walking, it shouldn't feel like I'm stomping on earth. Let my legs not feel the burden of my body. Walk slowly and deliberately while your eyes are only seeing love and light. Slowly, like an angel. We'll take 3 minutes to do this. Slowly come back to your starting point. You can come back. You can come back to your starting point. I know I said 3 minutes, but we're all within a room, right? Short distances. So finish up, come back to your original place. Sit down. And just relax. When you do things in a peaceful way, where your state of mind is at rest, there is no hurry, there's no worry. And then the actions we do are very balanced. Like we said, the earth doesn't feel the burden. My legs don't feel the burden. People around me don't feel the burden for the things that I am doing. And this is very important, right? Because many times, many problems that we have with the body are related to our state of mind, right? You all know this. Acidity, heartburn, blood pressure, diabetes, all of these things, heart problems, all of these come, they're called psychosomatic. Because every time there is unrest in your mind, there is unrest in every cell of your body. In every cell of your body. Because each one of those cells are trying to align with your energies. So when you make your mental energy peaceful, every cell in your body is at rest. And rest is a state of repair. That means whatever is not okay with the cell, it'll get repaired because it's rest. That's what happens in the night too, right? You all know why we sleep, right? Have you ever asked yourself, why do we have to sleep every day for at least 5 to 8 hours? Why do we have to do that? Because when the body works for 15 to 18 hours, and it's constantly working, right? We're eating, we're walking, we're doing our work, we're thinking about things, we're involved in stuff. At the end of the day, when you lie down and you're resting, the body repairs itself. Every cell in the body that has been used, that has consumed energy, repairs itself. So the mind is at rest. It is separate from the body, and every cell of the body gets repaired. So when that happens, when you wake up in the morning, you feel fresh. Oh, feels very good in the morning, doesn't it? What happened? The mind was at rest and the body repaired itself. And so when you wake up, you're fresh. But it's possible to have that state of rest even while we are doing everything in the day. Then at night, you don't require that much rest because your body is already in a state of rest. So you rejuvenate quickly. Have you seen this? The days when you've had a hard day, difficult day, stressful day. It always feels like I didn't have enough rest. Am I right? It's because of this. So now, So now we are going to go into the next part. I know we're already at I'm going to stop sharing. I know we are already at 7:18. So we're going to take a few minutes now and see what it feels like to be still, to be peaceful. We're going to experience it for a few minutes, for about 5 minutes. And then I will open up for any questions you have, and then we can close. But I guess the one point that I want you to take back with you today is that changing or reprogramming doesn't happen just with thoughts. That's not where it starts. That's not where it ends. It starts with a state of peace. It's only when I'm constantly in a state of peace that I know there is no need to reprogram anything more in my life at that point of time. Even if there is a little disturbance, that means there is a little reprogramming that needs to be done. If there is a lot of unrest, then there is a lot of work I need to do. And how will I recognize where those walls are? Anytime these feelings of insecurity, I'm not confident enough, I'm afraid, I don't think I can do this, I don't feel up to it. All of these thoughts and feelings are telling me that I'm touching the boundary of my mind. When someone says something and I get it, upsets me. They just said it. Sometimes they don't even mean it. They just say it because they know that's our button, right? And it upsets me. Then I know I've reached my wall. This is my cage. Otherwise, why should what someone else says even affect me? And this is what spirituality is. It's about going to this place where whatever happens around you, you are not disturbed. And it's very important to get there because as we look at the world today, we feel that, right? If we constantly get disturbed by what's going on in the world, we cannot help the world. We can't even help ourselves. So what are we going to help the world? But when you start or when you stop getting affected by what's going on in the world, you've reached a state of strength. We call that the power of peace. You have this power that you can actually make others peaceful through your presence. And this is what we feel usually, right? When we are with some spiritualists like the Dalai Lama. We always give the example of Dadi Janki in the big case. Even Sister Moini now. When you go around them, when you sit around them, it's like vague thoughts won't come. They just don't come. Because that power of peace and stillness that they hold inside of them is so powerful that it can actually calm my mind also. Yeah, this is where we want to get. And it all starts with peace. So if many people think peace is so lame, whatever happens, I'm supposed to be quiet. It's not like that. Peace is not lame. Peace is very powerful, very gentle, and yet very powerful. It can change not just our minds, it has the power to change the minds of many others around us, those who are in connection with us, those who hear us, and even those who don't connect, because it vibrates the energy of peace. So let's take a few minutes, yeah, to feel the state of peace, of stillness. So sit down, relax, but be alert. Running. Running is a habit that rules the world now. Bodies and minds run towards desires, away from fears, from worries. The mind is always running to fill the emptiness inside. It runs from fear. There is so much fear everywhere, so much running. And as the mind runs, the body also follows. And suddenly it feels like there is no time. There's no time, there's no space for anything. The mind has become entangled in actions. So it's time to stop running. There is nothing on the outside I need or want. So I choose to move my consciousness inside. I let my mind look within. So I withdraw all of my energy from everyone around me and concentrate on a single point of awareness at the center of the forehead. For a moment, just feel the energy at the center of the forehead. Let there not be any other thought. I hold still this moment. I am stable and I'm powerful. I am at peace and rest. And my mind is completely still. This is the doorway to transformation. This is the doorway to change. Om Shanti. So that was a glimpse of how we can start the process of mental reprogramming. I really hope you were not expecting to do the whole thing. This is just a taste. And I think if you want to do more, learn more, you can definitely join the course that they're starting next weekend. You will get to learn more about it. Any questions? I see something on chat. Okay. Peace experienced only when asleep. I do not recall any other time. It's still good, Yash, because there are people in the world who can't experience that even in sleep. So you're in a good place, but let's take it a little further.
Sister Sandhya, can I answer the question about the course? Course is this weekend. That's coming Saturday and Sunday, 25th and 26th. It is online, but there might be a possibility that if someone wants to come to the center, that you can come, but you need to call the center and find out and take the permission because COVID restrictions are still in place. So, but if you cannot, if you're far away, you can't go to the center, you can join online. Link for registration is on our website.
Does everyone have the website information, or do you want to post it in the chat? There is a problem with chat because you can't copy it from there. So maybe by email, you all would have registered, right? So Sister Anita can make sure you get the email.
I'm sorry. So if they click on the link, it just takes you to the registration page, and I'll just post the website link.
Perfect.
Is the ego the prevent us from having this energy of peace? Is it the enemy of peace?
So any vice prevents you from being in a state of peace. Because ego, you know, I always say this, there is white and black light. You know this, right?
Yes.
The white light reflects everything that comes towards it. And the black light absorbs everything that comes towards it. So the vices are like that. They take away what is within us. So we feel empty. And because we feel empty, we are constantly behind something. So we cannot be at peace or rest. But when you are in your original state, you are full within yourself. There is nowhere in the world I can actually find peace because it doesn't exist. It exists within me. And if I can actually tap into that, that's going to be the source. And then the next will be connecting to the Supreme. That's a different thing. But first, I have to tap within. And that is why spirituality always looks going within, because that's where the source is. While any other energy like ego, it makes you look on the outside. What are people thinking? What are they saying about me? How do I say that? So it's always on the outside. So definitely it will not allow us to be at peace.
Thank you.
Right, everyone. If you don't have any other questions, we can close for this evening. Have a wonderful evening. And we'll meet you next Thursday.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Sister Sandhya.